What goes on for at least 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, every week, and causes lots of unhappiness and unhealthiness? Work. As typical members of the corporate America family, we all work at least 40 hours a week. But did you know that there are studies that have been done that show that we have an increased risk of at least 2.5 times of being more depressed and at least 60% higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease? That is according to an article written by Carolyn Abate in June 2016 for Healthline News. Did you know there are numerous studies, including one done by Organization for Economic Cooperation, published in The Economist in 2013, showing people who work fewer hours a week are actually more productive than those who work over 40 hours a week. I've researched this topic thoroughly, and I think you will agree the findings stand for themselves. Working 40 hours a week causes numerous issues, including lower productiveness in the workplace, unhealthiness, and lesser quality of life. It makes sense that companies want the highest productivity possible from their employees, but they seem to be ignoring the facts that prove that employees are actually more productive when they work fewer hours. Study after study has found that higher productivity can be achieved when working fewer hours. Rebecca Greenfield wrote an article published in Bloomberg in 2016 about a study done at a Swedish retirement home regarding whether employees who actually got paid to work 8 hours a day, worked 6 hours a day, were they more productive or not? The results showed a resounding yes. The nurses were 2.8 times less likely to take a day off during the 2-week period. They were more attentive to their patients, and they made fewer errors. In an article published in Investopedia in December 2015, written by Matthew Johnston, the findings of Professor John Principal from Stanford University tells us that working longer hours leads to more fatigue, which leads to making more mistakes and more accidents. This sort of occurrence has long been recognized in industrial jobs where the employee may injure themselves while using heavy machinery or may damage the goods that they're working with because they're fatigued from too much work. Not only does working too much lead to errors, it also leads to health problems. Our health is being affected in a major way due to the long hours we're working. In the US, we are increasingly becoming a world of workaholics. While that may seem like a good thing for the bottom line, it is definitely not good for our health. Overwork doubles the risk of heart attack and stroke, according to an article written by Mr. Chen for Baseline of Health Foundation in 2015. Yet a big percentage of us do exactly that. A study by the University of Texas Health Sciences Center in Houston, published originally in the March edition of the Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine in 2016, found that the risk of a cardiovascular event increases by 1% for every hour over 40 that is worked during a 10-year period. There were 1,900 participants in the study, and 43% of them experienced a cardiovascular event during the long-term study. There's another aspect of our health that needs to be considered when thinking about hours spent at work. That is our emotional health. I think we all know what makes us happy. For most of us, that's not working long hours. An article written in May 2016 by Isabel Sawhill for Brookings, a political publication, urges corporations to allow employees to work fewer hours if they so choose. Not only does Sawhill explain that couples could lead a more balanced lifestyle, singles could have more time with their families. If they got done with their first job sooner, clearly they would have more energy to go home and take care of their kids or other loved ones. In a 2008 national study of the changing workforce, the Families and Work Institute reported that 75% of employees stated that they don't have enough time with their families. 59% said they didn't have enough time for themselves, and 61% said they didn't have enough time for their significant other or spouse. Americans work more hours than all other industrialized countries. The philosophy seems to be the more hours you work, the more successful you are. But that all depends on how you measure success. If you don't mind doubling the risk of heart disease or stroke, then by all means keep working over 40 hours a week. If you don't mind spending time doing the same task more than one time because you made errors that could have been avoided if you were working fewer hours, then by all means keep working over 40 hours a week. If you, unlike the majority of us, don't mind spending less time with the people you love, then keep working over 40 hours a week. I urge you to consider making a change in your work habits if you're consistently working over 40 hours a week. If you're doing it by choice, think about the statistics I gave you today. If you're doing it because your workload merits it, then talk to your manager.